Welcome back to Bolsover. Me and Paul are picking up this next section of the Dukeries line. This is the Lancashire Derbyshire East Coast Railway. We filmed this exactly a year ago last April, and we were only just getting round to finishing it off, aren't we? We started from Chesterfield, from Hornsbridge last time. We finished in Carvale. So we're just up from Carvale, from Bolsover South Station here. So, Lancashire, Derbyshire and East Coast Railway, a reminder of everything we've seen on this Dukeries line so far. The line opened in the late 1890s, and this branch was closed in the 1950s for reasons that we'll see shortly. We've already seen the section from the long-gone Chesterfield Marketplace station and the Hornsbridge Viaduct, and we followed the line through Spittal and on past Calo, tracing the remains. We saw a small bit of exposed portal from Dukeries Tunnel, a crossing under the Great Central Railway, the site of Arkwright Station before we approached Bolsover over the Carvale Viaduct and embankments. Last time out, we finished at the site of Bolsover Station by the former level crossing. Those new houses you can see there, the station was just over here somewhere, so we're right at the east end of the station here. And just stumble onto here. This green area you can see here, that was a cut-in. So this has all been infilled from here. We're looking up towards the start of what was Bolsover Tunnel. Let's come up this footpath. Look, there's already remains or evidence and confirmation of where the railway was. Look, so we've got these old fence posts here. But look, we've got, I think that's the remains of the bottom of a telegraph pole there, Paul.
Got to be, hasn't it?
Look at this, we can see on the old maps, literally straight after leaving the station and the sidings, etc. We had a footbridge that went over the line, and we stood on right where that footbridge was here. Look, so there's the line there, that green area.
You get a good view up here, don't you? Because I was thinking cutting were over that side, but it's here.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, the big. You know what? I've seen so many of these infill cuttings recently, Paul, doing like the GCR up towards Nottingham and South Derbyshire, or North Derbyshire, sorry.
But you get a good view, don't you, of where it was down here.
Yeah.
Just a shame it can't be walked on.
There's some great old photographs looking from the station, isn't there?
Yeah.
Looking down the cutting towards the tunnel.
Yeah. You get a good.
I wonder if there's one from that footbridge for comparison.
That's what I was thinking earlier on. I thought, I bet they were taken from that footbridge. You get a good view as well, what the tunnel went through as well, don't you? With Hillstan up there.
So here we are. Look, bit of a challenge getting down here. I think the good weather and the growth is not really helping matter with the vegetation. Severely boggy. I was literally nearly lost a shoe, but we're in the cutting now. It's partially infilled. We're actually standing here on infill, because look, if we turn around, here's the top of the portal for Bolsover Tunnel.
Got a hefty bit of concrete on, hasn't it?
They bricked the portals up, didn't they, Paul?
Yeah.
That, I'm assuming that's not original portal we can see there, is it?
No, it doesn't. It looks like newer brick, doesn't it?
And even that concrete bit in the middle.
They put a good cover over it so you can't get into it, haven't they? So yeah, it's a shame that we can't see any of the original brick, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But that's definitely new. It looks like house brick, doesn't it?
Yeah, well they bricked it up, didn't they?
Yeah.
It's not like Dukeries, is it, where you could see the arch?
No, it's...
So, yeah, you see the true tunnel.
It's probably been future-proofed, hasn't it, this?
Still interesting, though. Still good to see. I mean, just imagine how deep this cutting would have been before it had this level of infill on top here. So let's just talk for a few minutes just about Bolsover Tunnel, because this was a massive part of why this railway line closed prematurely in 1951. Right from when it was constructed, it suffered issues. It suffered massive problems with water ingress. The amount of coal mining in this area led to big problems with subsidence. Reports of the tunnel, inside of the tunnel, bowing, they had to prop it up with makeshift bits of wood and all sorts. And that led to, in 1942, to it being reduced from a double track to single track, just because it wasn't safe enough to put the 2 tracks. There wasn't the space there due to the damage and the subsidence. Because this was all infilled with colliery spoil that went in there, and there's videos of people. That's video on YouTube of people who've got in. Was it from the other end?
Yeah, I think it would be from the other end.
Through the fan shaft, and there's not much room in there to crawl around. And what is there? They're on their hands and knees, and they're still having to crouch down, aren't they, to get through the gap?
There's photos of the tipper trucks in the tunnel.
Oh, when they were actually
the waste as well.
Yeah.
So that must have been from this end, you would think, wouldn't it? Because there's no collieries at the other end.
So before we leave at the site of this west portal of Bolsover Tunnel, let's just take a moment just to appreciate this, the cutting walls, look, all the exposed rock that's being blasted out. And then that's looking back towards the station, Bolsover Station in Carvale. That's about 700 yards in that direction. Just a few more details before we leave the tunnel. So I mentioned the tunnel was double track, didn't I? It was 2,624 yards, so about 1.5 miles. So that's a decent length tunnel, that. It was in the 1960s that they did the infilling. So we've seen where the west portal was located. There are reports of 3 shafts along the length of the 1.5 mile long tunnel, but we only see 2 annotated on maps. And these are the ones that we know the locations of, roughly. The third appears to be a bit of a mystery, if it even existed, but it was understood to be close to the village of Scarcliffe. The first shaft is here, just by the side of the road in Hillstown. Although it's currently well covered by dense vegetation, the spoil from the shaft is quite obvious, but the actual shaft itself is a little more difficult to locate, possibly a little easier in the winter months. Where are we here, Paul?
Hillstown, named after somebody called Hill, and it's not actually a town.
Yeah, this mound.
Yeah, so this is from the tunnel, isn't it?
It's the spoil heap, yeah. This is the most westerly shaft, isn't it, of Bolsover Tunnel?
Yeah.
Which is just in this little coppice area here. And this mound, this raised area here, you can see in these trees. Oh, what's this called? Blue bank?
Blue bank.
It's all the spoil that they fetched up out of the tunnel. All the tip. The second shaft and the most easily located one, a similar story, situated by the raised area of tunnel spoil, and this one had a manhole that was amazingly unlocked, and I understand that this would be an entry point for the tunnel assessment purposes. That's never open.
It is, it's open.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Pointless because we haven't got a light, but you can't really see anything in there. Yeah, therefore you can let me know that now.
But yeah, how deep will that be? And I mean, fair enough, I'm not a kid, but you got a couple of 3 kids on that.
Yeah, get a ladder.
It's not safe, is it, that, surely?
And now we're continuing east towards the eastern side portal of Bolsover Tunnel by the village of Scarcliffe, and you can visibly see the line of the railway reappearing in front. So this is the village of Scarcliffe, and we've navigated to a footpath just right on the edge of where the tunnel comes out down there. That is underwater down there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wonder how deep it is.
So the portal, we're stood right on top of the portal here. That is a long way down there. That is a deep cutting down there.
You can see the sides. I imagine it's a stone, but you can see down there like the side.
It's not great video though, Paul.
No, it's not great visibility, is it?
Just pointing you at a tree. You might not be able to see what we can see.
You need your
that depth of field.
25 times zoom on your camera, don't you?
Bolsover Tunnel. There's plenty of videos online and photos readily available where folk have gained access to the tunnel from this end. I have to be honest here and say this isn't for me. I think I'll just enjoy the efforts of others. I'm the last person you want to be squeezing into small spaces. But even this one seems a challenge with its steep cutting walls, waist-height water, high entrance and claustrophobic infilling. So fair play to those with more of a taste for an adventure. Nevertheless, it's been great to see this section of the line that I've not explored before. At the east end, at the east side, the east portal of Scarcliffe, Bolsover Tunnel in Scarcliffe, it's some private land. You can't just turn up and walk down the track bed here, unfortunately. There's so much water down in there. We're just walking along the top of the cut in here. It's just down, it's down there. It's not easy to get a good view of it, to be honest, but deep cutting. And from what we could see when we got a look there, you're not going in there, I don't think, even wellies.
Still really, really deep.
That is a long way down, isn't it? It's a shame we haven't been able to get a view of the portal. But it's not the portal as it was it? It's bricked up, hasn't it? You see the videos of when people have got in it before, and it's...
I can see the exposed rock, but I still can't see the bottom. Look at that, how deep is that though? To say how far away from tunnel entrance we are now.
Yeah, that's insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've been walking alongside of that cutting, and here we go. This is what we were looking for. We've got this bridge that goes over the top of the cutting, so let's just have a look back down. We'll have a look back down towards, oh, hey, there we go. Old Joseph Amblet, West Bromwich, 1894.
It's a year later than that one at Spittle. Yeah, it's quite overgrown, isn't it?
That is severely overgrown. I can't see how you'd walk through there, Paul.
I mean, we're looking at tops of trees, aren't we? But there probably would be a navigable path through if you've got right clothes on. But it's not something that's walked.
Look at the cutting walls there. I hope this is coming across on camera just how high up this is.
And then this side looks better.
Let's have a look over the other side then.
If you look over there a bit, this side's
the station, isn't it? Still, there's not. I mean, there's trees and that.
And you can see the floor though down there, even though it's covered in nettles and stuff. But yeah, it's a long way down.
1893. Okay. You just pointed out something interesting. Look, we've got the blue brick topping stones on there, look, but
it's all stone underneath, and then at the sides of here we've got proper stone.
That's strange.
So it's only blue brick in that middle bit, isn't it?
This line's been built pretty much predominantly in blue engineering brick, haven't we? What we've seen so far.
So then, like on that side it's all stone, but on that side it's stone there, and that's more like concrete on that side, isn't it? On that end.
Maybe a repair job or something at some stage.
Yeah, it looks like it. Maybe it got run into with a tractor, right?
We'll leave this video there, but we're not done with this story. On the next episode, we'll actually be getting a look inside this fantastic cutting through Scarcliffe, and we'll be following the line to the junction with the Bayton branch at Langwith Junction. We've got plenty of interesting things still to show you, but there's too much to cram into one video. So thanks to Paul for his company and inquisitive enthusiasm as always, and thanks to all my channel members and channel supporters. You'll find the links in the description on how you can help support the channel. We'll see you on the next episode, and thanks for watching. Ta-ra!